Police Chief, another question for you. We have this Civilian Appeals Board, and I want to get a shout out to Paul, because Paul was the originator of the idea of a civilian police board. Wave at us, Paul. Way back over, he's gone, way back over 25 years ago. But what do you believe can be done to improve the ability of an individual who has a grievance against the police department to be able to come before the Civilian Appeals Board? And also, do you believe they should have the ability the board should have the ability to investigate? Right now, the process is that the Internal Affairs brings a report, and the only thing they review is the Internal Affairs report. I've not seen the changes, but City Attorney Ms. Hitchcock told me, she there? Anita?
Commissioner Mayhew's back.
Anita told me that they've now changed it where individual has the right to appear. That's a very recent change. It was not that way, whether or not they're able to argue their case. But so the Police Appeals Board, what do you think? The Civilian Appeals Board for governing police, should it be strengthened? Should they have the ability to conduct investigations?
So credit to the city attorney and credit to Mr. Mayhew for being among the people who helped create that system. So to answer your question, right now it is just that. It's a review of an investigation that's already occurred. What I hear from some members of the community is they'd like the ability to have the autonomy to investigate independently. And inevitably that comes down to a discussion regarding subpoena powers. And the term subpoena powers is thrown about in a lot of these conversations, but at the end of the day, subpoena powers entails having the ability to incarcerate someone. If someone doesn't show up for a subpoena and a bench warrant's issued, that's the coercive part of having the authority to issue a subpoena. So I believe it would take a change to city charter. So we're talking really significant changes to the way that the system currently runs. That being said, the city attorney, myself, and the Civilian Appeals Board are looking at ways to make the current system more robust. I think it's important to note that since the implementation of body-worn cameras, we've seen a decrease in our number of complaints. In the past, where issues were sometimes decided on a he said, she said, and then a preponderance of the evidence based on other people who witnessed the incident. Now we've got the ability to look at body-worn camera footage with the complainant, to go over what occurred, to look at it with the officer, and have a discussion about what transpired. And I think part of the reason that our complaints are decreasing is because we've got that transparency and the ability to have such a thorough vetting.
You say it takes a change to the city charter. Couldn't they just pass an ordinance? Couldn't the city commission just pass an ordinance that would change? Because it was created by ordinance. It was not created by charter.
I would defer to the attorneys in this commission, or in this group rather, this panel, and the city
Anita,
attorney.
come on up.
Yeah.
Anita, where you at? Well, would you support it? Would you support them having the ability to issue subpoenas and do their own investigation?
Yeah, I think it's problematic. Officers are entitled to the same rights to not self-incriminate as everyone else. So when you've got a Civilian Appeals Board that has the ability to get coerced statements, it starts to delve into issues of garrity rights, which are what protects officers from making those type of statements. So my fear, I say that to say this, my fear is instead of getting more cooperation, we may get more entrenched positions, where officers who right now are very quick to cooperate with these investigations and come in and give statements, give written statements, give recorded statements, may feel that if we were to take that step, it would be in their best interest to have union representation, to have attorneys sitting by their side before they gave statements. And I don't think that gets us to where we want to go.
Well, would you agree that what we have has not worked?
I think what we have, although not ideal, has served the community well.
Well, I think they had 2 complaints because it was so toothless that no one even would bother anymore to take something to the appeals board. So to be able to make it a board that will have some teeth, that will have some effect on the officers' activities, don't we have to strengthen it?
So, a matter of perspective, I think the number of cases being small, relatively minute, that are going to the Civilian Appeals Board are reflective of two things. The small number of cases that are actually resulting in investigations or complaints, rather, and then the small number of cases where a complaint or a complainant isn't satisfied with the results. When 21st Century CP came and took a look at our internal investigative affairs and how that's run, we sustain about 25% of complaints against officers. The national average is in the single digits. They were very surprised to see a department sustaining 1 in 4 complaints. That's relatively unheard of in law enforcement. So we don't whitewash anything. When we make a mistake, we're quick to recognize it. We're quick to seize that opportunity to retrain and to make sure that we enhance community relations by admitting we've made a mistake and then ensuring that we don't replicate that mistake.
Okay.